Yeah, apparently there's like 8 logs that hold that entire cliffside up. So once they do
That's
that, the entire
dangerous.
cliffside. Yeah, it
That's
was
very
very.
dangerous to have just 8 logs that could
Yeah,
be hit with hammers by anybody at any point. If anybody got mad or made an accident, the whole thing comes collapsing. The
yeah, and it's
entire
hard.
mountain came down.
No, and it's hard to not see that as a Snyder statement on women's architecture and
Yeah.
so.
No, I mean, I think he's probably aware. I don't know if are there women architecture? Are there women that are architects at
Not
all?
yet, not yet. Maybe, hopefully, with Biden.
Yeah, hopefully Biden. I don't think. Yeah, I can't think of a single woman. I mean, I can't name a single male architect either. But I'm just saying, like,
Mine, they're all men.
yeah, in my mind, yeah, they're definitely. If I'm going to be in a building that's going to be protecting my life,
Yeah,
it's not going to be done by a female.
yeah. The only architect I really know is the dad from the Brady Bunch.
Everybody, rock your body. Everybody, rock your body right. Backstreet's back, alright. Oh my God, we're back again. Brothers, sisters, everybody sing.
So yeah, so Steppenwolf comes in to get this box. In the original Justice League, he comes in. It's a much shorter scene. This one, I will give respect to Snyder. The women fight back a lot harder this time. Now, Snyder's obviously got something against horses because he let Steppenwolf beat the crap out of these horses. He's flipping horses every which way. These poor horses have nothing to do with any of this. I don't think they care.
I should probably tell you the rest of the show is all horse jokes.
But Steppenwolf comes in. He's taking all these women out. They try their best to win. They're not going to do it. He wins. Now, this new version of Steppenwolf is a new design. Now, I know what's weird to me is Snyder says this is the design he wants, but the way that Steppenwolf looks in the movie originally is how he looked at the end of Batman v Superman. So I'm confused because I don't know why suddenly he looks different. But the weird thing was after seeing it, I actually preferred the original Steppenwolf. I thought he looked a little more human, more a mythological character, more like a god that people would have prayed to or something. This new one, just even more CGI. That's what I felt like. I just like
it just gets into the same problem with all the Marvel movies is you end up with this very like uninspired giant CGI villain that doesn't look unique or iconic in any way. It's just like another monster.
Why and it just seems lazy to me, and we can talk this more in the movie, but why is he CGI? Why can't this guy be an actor? I don't understand why this can't be a person with armor on. I don't understand. Like, why not just have an actor in this role? And why are we doing this sort of thing? I feel like, I mean, look, CGI is obviously, I don't understand how all this works. And obviously CGI a lot of times is easier to do. But I feel like whenever George Lucas came in and started redoing his Star Wars movies, right, and was like, here's the original thing, but now if we put, you know, a naked alien dancing in the background, it'll make it better in CGI. And suddenly everybody, just like Peter Jackson with The Hobbit, was suddenly like, well, let's just put even more CGI in. CGI works. Let's do all these sort of things. And this starts happening more and more where you start really craving the natural, the real effects, like the movie The Thing, stuff like that. We're like, can I just get a person with makeup?
Yeah, I assume the reason for this, at least, would be because so many scenes that he's going to be in were going to be 90% or more CGI, that it would be easier just to add him a CGI than to take a person and film a bunch of blue screen stuff.
Yeah.
I would assume that's the answer because most of the scenes he's in, he is like throwing horses or in collapsing buildings or whatever, just like the other superheroes, except the other superheroes have to be actors for people to buy tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for sure, if anybody will watch his Legend, not the one about the twins, but the fantasy with Tom Cruise, the bad villain in that is Darkness, and he's a giant red demon. And it's one of the, in my opinion, the coolest designed villains. And if that were made today, that movie, I would assume there would be 100% chance that he would be CGI completely.
You have this story to be this explanation about Step. Now they did an original thing, and Wonder Woman did the voiceover. It was very short to tell this backstory of what happened of the war long time ago on Earth. This time they really flush it out, which I understand, right? Darkseid actually showed up, and then they fought everybody, and you get much more of an idea of this battle and how everybody came together. You have the Green Lantern, you get a really good shot of the Green Lantern fighting and just getting destroyed, and you have all these other characters coming together. But the voiceover from Wonder Woman is the worst voiceover I've heard in a long time.
By Earth's defenders, the old gods, men, Atlanteans before their descent into the sea, Amazons before their betrayal and enslavement, and guardians from the stars.
I don't know, and I asked somebody this. I'm like, did they just take the first cut? Was that she just read it, and then Snyder was like, "Good, we don't have time to direct how you're saying this."
Yeah, and what I assume happened was Snyder showed up to her house one day and pulled out his iPhone and said, "Hey, read this really quick into my microphone," and she would read it really quick, and he said, "Okay, I gotta go by," and then he just edited directly into the movie.
Yeah, because I don't understand the reading at all. Look, Gal Gadot is, I think, for not a great actress in general. Oh. No screen presence in general. Wonder Woman 84 didn't help at all. She's better in Zack Snyder's movies than she was like in Wonder Woman 84, but she, with her accent, her trying to do this sort of voiceover in this epic scene, which is kind of like a Lord of the Rings opening. Really, what the feel is, right? We're going back to this and how this ultimate bad guy was defeated the first time of everybody coming together. And so it's really Zack Snyder's chance to go, I will do my version of Lord of the Rings opening. But Cate Blanchett, her doing a voiceover, compared to Gal Gadot doing a voiceover, it's two completely different things. It's like the difference between Morgan Freeman, if you've heard him do a voiceover, and when Kevin Costner does a voiceover in Dances with the Wolves, which is the most boring. He sounds bored out of his mind the entire time.
Yeah, well, and and it's not just relegated to this scene either. I mean, her bad acting is strewn throughout this whole movie.
Kal-El, no!
There are scenes where she just walks in and says, I don't even know what she says, like, "How are you doing?" or something, and you go, well, why wouldn't you refilm this? Why wouldn't you have to do this again? And this is not a shot at her, right? I don't. It's rarely the actor's fault.
Kal-El, no!
This is 100% direction. You can watch some movies with some of the worst actors where good directors got good performances out of them, and she's a professional actor. She knows how to read lines. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, her acting throughout the movie it fluctuates so much to being completely acceptable. I wouldn't say good or great or anything, but completely acceptable to completely unacceptable. And it's the worst at that voiceover because it's so long and it never stops.
Made from a science so advanced, it looks like sorcery. To conquer, 3 boxes have to synchronize and join together into the Unity. The Unity cleanses a planet with fire.
Now, the other thing that he added in here, which is, it's going to be parodied nonstop because not in the other one, is every time Wonder Woman shows up, and especially at the end about 12 times. Every time she does anything, it's like, there she is. And then it's always that, I don't know what that weird noise.
Yeah, that singing music that shows up to, and that's the thing, it's not only to announce her arrival, it's literally every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
The main focus of the shot. So you have multiple times in the same fight scene where it just cuts to her like swinging her sword, and that music comes like screaming in, and you go, yeah, it just becomes a joke. I mean, it was a joke pretty quickly in the beginning, but then it continues all 4 hours.
Shall we?
No, and then at the end, it's at the end they do it about 4 times in a row.
Yeah, and it's always
about a minute, and it just keeps. She goes, and then and it keeps doing this thing, which I was like, is this racist? I didn't know what to say. I was like, this is like the gong in 16 Candles for Long Duck Dong.
What's happening, hot stuff?
His name is Long Duck Dong.
The gong sound, and that it does seem if I were more culturally educated, I think I could make a decision on it if that were racist or not.
Yeah, I heard the noise, and I just like, that's the people that's against America. That's all I know.
Yeah,
they're trying to take my freedoms.
But I will say about that flashback, it does what it does for the movie is it sets up this idea of Darkseid being in control, that Steppenwolf is really just a puppet, and it does give Steppenwolf an actual motive and motion that he's trying to get back in Darkseid's good graces, which you don't have that in the theatrical version. Steppenwolf is not even a character. I mean, he might as well be replaced by like a bowl of pudding or something. He has no, he has no motive. He has no reason to do anything. And this one, while not amazing or anything that I would point out to anybody for any special reasons, at least it becomes engaging where he has a reason for doing stuff, and you can see that he's hurt by things or he's disappointed or upset or whatever. Well, the other thing about that early battle is that you see Zeus. I couldn't figure out who it's supposed to be because he just looks like he stepped directly off the set of 300. I was just like, there's 300. I was like, oh, the Spartans. So it was the Atlanteans, the humans, the Amazons, and the Spartans were there also fighting, because he looks exactly like that character. It's so weird that was allowed, where you're like, well, clearly this is just one of the extras from 300. The Cyborg, his character in the theatrical cut had no motive, was confusing. You couldn't figure out what his powers were. He just was around, and he was just like sitting around in this hoodie, moping, being like, oh, my life is hard. And this one, while it does give him a bunch more backstory and reason for existing, I can't say I was ever engaged or interested in it at all. And ultimately, it becomes the emotional core of the movie, with his dad being the voiceover at the end that kind of ties all the loose ends up and gives like the emotional core of like, you know, be the best you can be. And I don't remember what else he said.
She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her enough or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
But that was, Snyder worked it so that his backstory and his relationship with his dad was actually important to the story. Again, I just didn't care. And also he's so incredibly powerful because he can control anything that's computer related. So he can control all nuclear bomb warheads, and he can control the stock market and control anybody's economy. And these characters, but then again, that again at the end of the movie, he becomes needed, where something Superman wouldn't have been able to do, which is he has to hack into the super box or whatever it's called when it all comes together. He has to hack into it, and that is essential to defeating Darkseid or Steppenwolf, which again in the original one, I don't think that was the thing, right?
There was nothing. I mean, with Cyborg especially, like there was nothing with Cyborg. I couldn't figure out exactly what his powers were. He's supposed to be like connected to the box. I knew that, but you didn't really care about any of that. You know, he's mad at his dad, but it's not really fleshed out in any sort of way with that. In this one, I kept thinking, maybe why not he should just shoot a nuke at where they're at. They're kind of this abandoned place anyways.
Yeah, they need a bunch of power, and it's like, well, so this is so we have he was in a car wreck and died. Basically, I think he died, and his dad uses the power of the one of these mother boxes to basically bring him back to life. And when he does that, part of that power that exists inside the mother box goes into Cyborg. So Cyborg is actually connected to these things, and from there, at the end of the movie, and to overcome these boxes to make sure that Steppenwolf can't abuse their power, he has to actually hack into them. But hacking into him takes a bunch of power, right? So they I don't know if that makes any sense or if that has any basis in reality. But every time they do something in this movie, they're like, we need a ton of power. we going to do that? And it's like the Flash, I guess, because he generates power. How? I still don't quite understand how he's generating power by just touching things. Because when he's running fast and grabbing people and moving them around, he's not like killing them with electricity. So I don't really see how that does anything.
Yeah, that there's some questions I have.
Backstreet's back, all right. Oh my God, we're back again.